De ceux qui ont bagarré pour le président Issa Chiroma. Voyez, nous on veut un changement. Nous voulons un changement. Chiroma est notre président pour définitif. Nous avons brûlé la voiture de la gendarmerie nationale. Oui, Issa Chiroma est notre président de vous.
I warned us. It has started happening in Garoua. Immediately after the election, the military attempted to break into Issa Chiroma's house. That is the news we are getting from the ground. The population knew that something like this might happen. So they went, surrounded Issa Chiroma's house, and they burnt the vehicles of the military officers. Are you seeing what is happening? I told us. I warned us. And if care is not taken, this country will go up in flames. Now, there is a news that came in from Bamenda about 3 days ago that the Tikar armies took out 5 BIRs. 5 BIRs in Donga-Mantung. Now, one thing I want you all, my people, from the United Kingdoms of Tikar, to pay attention to. Do not let this election distract you. Do not let this election get into you. You are legally not part of this country. Let this dawn on you, because it had to dawn on me. You are legally not part of this country. You are betraying future generations by participating in an election like this. Now, there is a clergy that offered a prayer, and I think I touched on this a little bit. I heard his prayer. It was comforting, touching, makes you to think. I want us to listen to that prayer. There is a theological aspect of our existence that we can't ignore. I must admit. Let's listen to that prayer together.
I contemplated the event of today, the election of the President of the Republic of Cameroon. The Spirit told me to pray for my country. So what shall I pray? A vision came to me, leading me to the prayer of Daniel for his people. I'm nobody close to Daniel's status, his wisdom, his faith, but the urgent was there. So I opened my Bible to the book of Daniel and to the 9th chapter, the verses 17 to 19, where Daniel prays, "O God, hear my prayer and pleading. Restore our country, which has been deployed."
Let me make this absolutely clear. God is a God of wisdom. That is the application of knowledge. God won't bless us while we dwell in ignorance. The Bible is clear. My people perish because they lack knowledge, because they lack vision, because they lack understanding. That is a classic picture of why people go down in this war, because they lack perspective, they lack direction, they don't know who they are. That is the primary reason why people perish. The knowledge I'm unpacking on this platform is to help us have that perspective so that we make decisions based on information that is accurate and consistent with the ways of God. Imagine when the children of Israel were being told to leave Egypt. Then one of the Israelites go to their corner and they are praying that God, help us find peace in Egypt. Help us make sense of our lives in Egypt. Let the government of this country not be too harsh on us. Do you think that God will bless those individuals? No, it's a question. We have to be rational even as we follow God. God is not ignorant. He is rational. I'm asking you the question. Do you think God will bless someone that rose up and said, oh, I'll just go to my own corner and pray? I will pray to God to protect us in Egypt. Mind you, there were Egyptians that were sympathetic towards the Hebrew that followed them out of Egypt. They were tired of that oppressive government as well. There were men married to Hebrew women that followed the Israelites out of Egypt. For those who have been asking the question, what will children born from Anglophone and Francophone parents do? They walked out of Egypt. That is what happened. Many who were slaves in Egypt that were not Israelites left Egypt, including cattle. They took gold. They took everything with them out of Egypt. It is written in your Bible. They say Africa is the cradle of human civilization. It's for a reason. Let's keep listening.
Destroyed, shattered, and where there have been cries of injustice. Restore it so that everyone will know that you are God. Listen to us, O God. Look at us and see the trouble we are at and suffering of your people who bear your name. We are praying to you because you're merciful, not because we have done right. Lord, hear us.
We will come back to that theological aspect, but I want us to listen to how this election was conducted in Bamenda. And then you will answer that question if God is really in a country that is structured this way. You will answer that question for yourself. Fair? Let's take a listen.
Of Star Television, you're welcome to Old Town Bamenda, one of the polling centers here in Bamenda, where we equally have other polling stations which have been brought from far and near to come under this polling center. Now, here at Old Town Bamenda, we can find voters who have actually braved the earth to carry on their civic rights and responsibility. Remember that at the dawn of this morning, we had a heavy downpour which might hinder the movement of voters or individuals, but they have actually braved the earth to carry on that responsibility. Now, why at Old Town Bamenda here? Some of the irregularities that we have noticed is the fact that individuals who registered to actually carry on their responsibility to vote say they can't find their names. Why they equally complain that some of the names that they have noticed are individuals who are actually dead already, but they find their names on the registered list. So this has left a million questions in the minds of the voters. It is important to note equally that 700,000 voters are expected to carry out this exercise of civic rights across 138 public structures, hosting a total of 2,529 polling stations throughout the region. And while at the various polling centers, televiewers, Star Television equally spoke with district chairman of SDF Bamenda 2 and other SDF party officials represented at the various polling centers, and this is what they have to say.
thank you very much. I left. I've gone across. The camp says they cannot manage the security challenges, and that is why they've been able to agglomerate these 206 polling stations into Bamenda in 4 polling centers, which in all reality, you see that the elections, we cannot consider it to be fair, because people who have the will and the willingness to come and vote, they are not able to vote, coupled with the lockdown that has been imposed by separatists. We also witnessed some cases that people have voters' cards, but their names are not found on the register. Yeah, I think I witnessed a couple at the GS Old Town polling center.
One thing you will notice is names of dead people was on the voters list. Individuals who wanted to vote cannot even find their voters card. You want God to make a way when you pray for him to bless you in a system like this, in a country structured this way. Foncha made it clear this was an interim federal system. The union between La République and the Southern Cameroons was not consummated, was not ratified, was not signed. God can't bless us in a union like this. Never. God is a God of order. We cannot underestimate the role that pastors, reverend fathers, bishops play in shaping the political atmosphere in this country. And the clergies in the Tikar, you have to understand who you are. We have played a significant role to shape modern civilization. That is the DNA you carry. That is the blood running in your veins. We migrated from Sudan to the Adamawas to the Bamenda Highlands. You carry a different DNA in you. Africa is the cradle of human civilization for a purpose. Even though we are fighting a war, trying to adjust ourselves, do not let the color of your skin define you. We have played a significant role to shape modern civilization. Let this dawn on you. For example, if you look at Abraham, he's considered the father of faith. Fair? And Abraham had a maiden, had a baby by that maiden, Ishmael. Through that lineage comes Islam. And through Isaac, the son of Abraham, came Jacob, came Joseph, came Moses, and Moses was born where? In Egypt. He was raised in Egypt. Studied in our schools. We are the cradle of human civilization. Mathematics, science, technology, engineering, all started in Africa. This is what we are reviving through this movement. Do you get it? So if you look at Moses, he gave birth to Judaism. And through Judaism came Christianity. So if you take everything back to Abraham, you realize that what controls the world, the faith that controls the world, comes from one family. So what is going on in the Middle East between Israel and Palestine? These are just two brothers. These are just two brothers fighting each other. You get it? Now, when Abraham was hungry, where did he go to? Africa. Isaac came to Africa. Their philosophy and their ideas were all shaped in Africa. We had a monotheistic view of God. Your native tongue carries that word Nwi. It is not a European invention. Nwi is the one and supreme God. We knew that God coming out of Sudan. The 25th dynasty in Egypt was ruled by a black man. Do you understand this? I want to open your mind so that the spark of creativity, your real nature that has been suppressed, can emerge. Every civilization you see today, whether it is spiritual or political or technological, we created that spark in Africa. And we will not let the 1% of Europeans that came down to Africa with their slave agenda or colonial agenda define the entire white race. Just like we will not let the few Arabs that go out there to practice terrorism define the entire Arab race. And we have influenced these groups of people significantly. That's why they say when you go black, you never go back. We have influenced the world in unimaginable ways. And it's time for us to do it again. Let us love. Let us never stop caring, but let us not be stupid. Reverend fathers, pastors in the Tikar land, stand with your people. And the same message goes for the funds in the Tikar land. Do you understand? When you hear the word Judaism, that is the memory of God. That is what Judaism is, the memory of God. Moses wrote all these books so that we never forget God. As you're leaving Egypt, remember the Lord your God, right? So it's the memory of God. That is Judaism in a nutshell. Christianity is the love of God. Islam is the order of God. And this comes from one region, Iraq, or that is where Abraham came from, Palestine, Israel. These are all one people that have produced the greatest faith that controls the world. We go to church to pray. Remember, even Moses had a wife, a Cushite wife, Zipporah, black woman. So I want you to see not only our contribution to modern civilization, but how mixed we are racially with these groups that we influence over time. Plato, Pythagoras, these are Greek thinkers and intellectuals that came and studied in Egypt. This was all black people. Imagine, you see the whole of North Africa right now, predominantly is Arabs. That is how Abraham and the rest came in, end up becoming slaves. You see what I'm saying? And now when they are living, they had that spark and got connected with God and then created this religion. We shape how people see God. Do you understand what I'm saying? Every invention, mathematics, philosophy, science, architecture, engineering started in Africa. We have to appreciate what others have done, like what the Europeans took what they got from Africa and expanded it to what we see today. We appreciate that contribution. We have to appreciate Abraham, appreciate Moses for what they came to Africa, got the spark, got connected with God. Fair, and what they have been able to contribute to human civilization. But let us never undermine our role and not let the few greedy ones that try to paint an entire race a certain way dominate our thinking. They are good white people as well as they are horrible white people. They are good black people as well as they are horrible black people. They are good Arabs, Asians, as well as they are terrible ones. And so what I'm trying to get you to understand is we cannot let the few who have their agenda act as though they are representing an entire race dominate our thinking anymore. They've played this game for a very long time. Before the 14th century, there was nothing like black and white the way we see it today. This racial tension, political tension that we see in the world today, this religious tension did not exist. People with their confused thoughts created the world that we see today. And we step up to correct that. And when an individual steps up from any group claim they are representing that group, you are representing your idea, and we separate your idea from the entire group. That is how we fix the world. We will not suppress people's creativity because of a few greedy ones. We rob ourselves of the blessing God has put in every human being on earth. We lose long term. You can play this game for a short time and you enjoy it, but the entire human race suffers when you suppress the creativity of any human being. And if the La Republic government can get this, we don't have to be fighting. We don't have to be killing each other. Africa, black people, you've picked up this Western concepts of philosophy or politics, and you're trying to dabble with it, and it's not working for you because we had everything initially, and if we can tap into what we had, we will create another spark that will go on to bless the world. We had a monotheistic view of God. We had a holistic way of life. Do you get it? That includes reasoning, nature, and morality. Reason has to do with invention. That there is a rhythm to the sea, the rivers, seed, and life. Morality. That is, you should have the understanding that whatever you do affects the rest of the tribe, the rest of the community. Just like what Paul Biya is doing is affecting the entire Francophone zone. And we don't let people like this rule us, because this is the impression that they create, not only for themselves, but they paint the entire Cameroon a certain way because of their behavior. And then nature, having that understanding that nature was not designed to be dominated, but to be understood. That human life is sacred. We are not here to dominate anyone. We are here to understand life. And when we make life all about spirituality, we live in the sky. We had a holistic way of looking at life in Africa. And people have picked fragments of these things and they go out there and they say, oh, this is everything that we need now. No. We cut trees, build cities. Now we are looking for ways to plant trees. We destroy some animals. Now we are calling them protected life species. Do you see how life is? We say, oh, let's build factories. Now we have to protect the environment. But we had a holistic way of living life, understanding the role each and every one of God's creation. We had a holistic understanding of life in Africa. And when we go back to that, we will find true freedom. Not trying to pick fragments of what the West or maybe the East or the Middle East took from Africa and have expanded it based on how they understand it. And now we are trying to take that and create a life out of that. We were created by God for a purpose and placed in this geographical location called Africa. Another instance is the map of the world. Look at where Africa is positioned on that map. The Europeans call themselves the West, but that is really north of Africa. The West should be America and Brazil, while the East is India and China, which is appropriate. But we call Europeans the West. This is confusion, even geographically. We are at the center of the world. Remember, the Portuguese were looking for the sea road to India, stumbled across Africa and never left. Africa changes anyone that comes in close proximity with us. That is the power we have. We are inventors. We create things. I hope we can just grasp these concepts. If we have a firm understanding of what I'm saying here, we don't need to fight. You don't have any contract or legal binding document between you and La République du Cameroon. What is hard to understand? That these people don't want you, let them go. You understand? That is why Adam Smith had to write to King George. Let the Americans go. They will be more productive when they establish a nation where they understand each other better, understand their distinct gifts better. They will produce goods and services that will help you, and it will reduce your administrative costs. What is too hard to understand? All this military left and right won't cut it. All this corrupt political system robs us in the long term. No one benefits. We shouldn't have a European nation coming to Africa to help us solve our problems. We are the cradle of human civilization. Do you understand? My people, pastors, clergy, bishops, prophets in the United Kingdoms of Tikar, you have a vital role to play. Because faith is something that our people hold dear. And again, I've explained to you, Islam, Judaism, Christianity comes from one family. Comes from Abraham. We had an understanding of monotheism in the Tikar land. See, that is the supreme invincible God. That comes from Amun-Ra, the God we worshipped in Sudan before leaving. We've picked up the Bantoid language in this area, and that is why we use the word Unwe. But that God is Amun-Ra, the God of Amun. You can forget who you are, just like the Israelites who were in Egypt forgot who they were. Moses had to remind them of who they are. Even after 400 years, they had forgotten that this is who you are. Your predecessors came here to look for food, ended up becoming slave because there was a king that rose up and forgot who Joseph was. And I'm sure it was black people ruling Egypt. If you look at archaeology, if you look at that geographical location and what has happened over time, because skin pigmentation doesn't just change like that. It takes thousands of years for your body to turn from black to white. That's why most of the people you see with fair skin, most of them are mixed race. It takes thousands of years for your skin pigmentation to change based on the geographical location that you find yourself. So again, Abraham had Hagar. Through Hagar came Ishmael. And Hagar was a black woman. Zipporah was a black woman. Even Jesus Christ, when he was born, and the king at that time was looking for ways to destroy every young child, ran to Egypt to find safety. Africa always gives, and it's time for us to rise up, not with animosity or revenge, but take our position in the world stage. In faith, in politics, in technology, in science, it is time for us to rise up and take our position in the world stage while appreciating others' contribution to modern civilization. And be able to point out the evil ones that rise up to represent an entire race, that we know your agenda and you can represent the rest of these people in spite of the fact that you look like them. And that is how we destroy evil. and make the world a better place. Do you understand? So when you are encouraging your people to go vote in this system, you are acting like the Israelites will remain in Egypt. You are against the same faith that you believe in. You're against the same Bible that you preach. You know the oppression that your people are going through in this country. If there's anything, you should be preaching that we leave this oppressive system. Not remain here. You shouldn't be cooperating with this government while preaching the Bible. It doesn't make sense. How can you yoke with the people that oppress your own people? And you pick up the Bible. It doesn't make sense. Fair? So my people, that is what is happening in Garoua. Like I said, we will have worse days ahead. This is just the beginning. In America, they won't accept you to become president if you are Islam. Here. Because in as much as it was a faith that was out to produce order, they started conquering territories. And sometimes they will force people to convert to Islam. And that is against faith. That is against spirituality. And the Europeans love to conquer. And so immediately there is a clash. There is a clash right there. The very fact that Islam came up with the idea of conquering. You won't be allowed to be president in America if you are a Muslim. It is written in the Constitution that your faith will not determine whether you become president in America. But in reality, that's not the case. You get it? So, 300,000 Bamenda people were eliminated by Amadou Ahidjo from the same area Issa Chiroma Bakari is coming from. So be careful of what you ask for. You guys had many young people who wanted to become president. Some of them had ideas that were good, but you did not choose them. So whatever decision you're making right now, be ready for the consequences. You get to the place where you understand that life is designed to be lived in its totality. And this can only happen when you embody reason, morality, and nature. That is what our ancestors embodied. And those who encountered us picked one aspect and they are running wild with it. And we have to let them know that you need all three to live a function in life. We did not worship rivers, but we understood its function. We did not worship the dead, but we understood their function in our lives, that we honor our ancestors, not worship them. Do you understand this? That you should treat each other right, that your attitude and your character can affect an entire community. We embody this, and I encourage each and every one of you, go pick the book Things Fall Apart and read that book by Chinua Achebe. Every indigene of the United Kingdoms of Tikar, go out there and pick up the book Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. Read that book because it will help you connect with your ancestors, help you understand your life better. It will help you understand your life better, so that you grasp some of the things I'm teaching here. You have a holistic perspective on life. And when we start formulating systems like this, the world is going to learn from us. Not with European politics, not with European machines, and not with the Middle Eastern religion all by itself. But when we embrace all, and when you embrace all, you have wholeness. Through Moses, we've understood God better. And through the West, we've understood technology better. But we started all of this. It was in Africa. The East worshiped nature. We had all three in Africa.